Slovenia is actually an amazing place to do cycling. Almost half of the country is actually national park, and my focus is always in finding those hidden gems, the places that are not the most crowded or the most known. All beyond biking, what else can you experience? The options we have are really limitless. My name's Nejc. I come from Slovenia, from a very small little village. A little bit of background about me. I basically really an outdoor lover. I used to travel abroad a lot to work in different types of fields as a diver, as a kite surfer, windsurfer, a skier. Skiing was actually my passion. For the past 11 years, I've been in Davos, Switzerland, and 2 years ago, I founded my own company up here. So we run now a ski school. And really, outdoor activities are something that I really connect, and it changed a lot in my life. When I was traveling abroad, I was each time coming back home, and I started to realize that Slovenia is actually an amazing place to do cycling. And I basically, just on that thought, realized that this is something I really need to do. And 8 years ago, I opened a company called Our Way. I was 25 at that time. And from that moment on, I'm basically guiding people on biking and hiking tours around Slovenia. What we're going to be covering today, why Slovenia? Why is this a hidden gem for biking and hiking? The type of tours you can do in the country, all beyond biking. What else can you experience? Is it just the biking, or are there other additional things? How to plan your trip, when is best time to come, to prepare yourself. We're gonna hear a little story from one of my guests. So where is Slovenia? I always get a question, where is it? What language do you speak? How many people is it like? Is it in Europe? What kind of currency do you use? Well, on the map, you see that it's a very small country in the Central Europe. We border with Austria on the north, Italy on the west, Hungary on the east, and Croatia on the south. I put a little heart here because if you read the word Slovenia, we actually have the love inside. But as a joke, we always joke a little bit about it. The shape of the country actually looks like a chicken. There's only 2 million people. We have our own language. We speak Slovenian. And to welcome everybody in Slovenian language, I would say dobrodošli or pozdravljeni, which means welcome or hello. I would say Slovenia is a country with big variety, compact diversity. In a very small area, you basically find mountains that are Alps. You find lakes, you find rivers, nice glacier valleys, the vineyards, and the best thing, what we're really proud of, it's also the Adriatic coast. It's something really unique that you can have beside the Alps 1 hour away. Also the sea where you can jump in and have a completely different experience. So almost half of the country is actually a national park. We have 65% of the whole area is covered in forests, and there's 74 different types of trees. So it makes the country very diverse and worth exploring. And all these really in a very compact area. People sometimes when they drive from the north, from Austria to Croatia, they don't even realize they crossed Slovenia. And this, I think, what makes Slovenia really amazing for cycling. Because when you do cycling, you can explore all these different regions and you can explore them in an amazing way. Like every day, you can be in a new kind of environment. Everything changes. So one day you're in the Alps, the other day you're on the coast, then you're at the vineyards. And this country really allows you to do all that. As a kid, I used to go just on a day trip from the Alps, where basically my hometown is, to the coast. It's approximately 100 kilometers. Just went there for a day trip, spent the night there, enjoy a little bit on the coast, and then the next day I went back home. And I didn't appreciate that in the past, but now I really do, that we have that and you really have an option to choose. Also, the history and how the country looks now, it was shaped by all the 4 countries that we have around us. So all the movement that was happening in the past shaped Slovenian history. It's basically, you're going to find blend of cultures of Austrian style, the Italian influence, the Hungarian influence, and the Balkan influence, all in a very compact area. So it feels like you're in a country with 4 different countries every day. So you feel all that in food, tradition, and architecture. Many of you probably knows, or if you do not know, Slovenia is the home of amazing cyclists that are shaping now, and we're basically one of the best in the world, which is in a way crazy for a 2 million people nation. And probably you know Tadej Pogacar and Primož Roglic, the winner of Giro d'Italia, Tour de France, La Vuelta. Those guys really brought Slovenia on the map for cycling. But it's not just the professionals, it's also the locals. Like there's a lot of recreational, people go out, people cycle, people root for it. And it's kind of in our blood. We love to be outdoor, not only cycling, also hiking and some other adventure stuff. And you come to that country, you can see all that and really feel this good environment of, well, healthy people being outside and enjoying life. A lot of people that come on my tours or bike with me, either friends or, from the other side of the world, they would ask me like, okay, the country is so small, but like, why are all the roads, the road you see on the photo, why are they so quiet? Like, why there's not many people? And my answer to that is just, we had so many of them. And so the terrain and everything is endless. You can be, on nice gravel roads, great asphalt roads, and all the infrastructure is really well maintained. The country does really well to keep those roads in good conditions so people can really use them. And you find so many hidden trails you've never known. And my focus is always in finding those hidden gems, the places that are not the most crowded or the most known. And that's where you really want to go and explore it. For who would I say that Slovenia is? Well, I mentioned that we have all these different landscapes and it changes dramatically with just a 15-minute drive. Well, it's a really biking paradise for all skill levels. It can be a challenging mountain ascent like you would get in Austria, in Switzerland, or in the Dolomites in Italy, some friends. Like you really get a challenge of that also here because we do have Alps. If you want more leisure ride, you can ride along the valleys, around the lakes and rivers. And if you just want to challenge yourself enough, there's so many hills. And the good thing about those little hills are that the roads are great, the views are also amazing, and it's really well connected. So you can really find a challenge for everyone, either if you're a leisure rider or like a really good experienced cyclist. When I mentioned that it is actually for all skill levels, electric mountain biking brought a lot of the mountain areas to a broader audience. So many people can now access higher hills, higher mountains with the electric assistance. And that also changed how I see and how I present what I'm doing, because now I can take a group of bikers up to a place and we enjoy it, we love it. And it is something I think really amazing in cycling that happened. Here, I need to mention that when you do mountain biking in Slovenia, we don't have great big parks that all the trails would be nicely done. A lot of the trails we have, especially when it comes to the single trails, are natural, so they can be challenging, demanding, but also like rewarding. I like to ride on those. When it comes to gravel paths, the gravel roads are really well maintained, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Road cycling, I mentioned the Slovenian cyclists. It is becoming really, really popular, and it was popular in the past as well. We have so many iconic climbs in the Alps and also down to the coast. And the one on the photo that you see, it's called Vršič Pass. It's not my favorite. I would say you should avoid this climb in summer because it is packed with either camper vans, bikers, cars, everything. Everybody wants to go up because, on the top, it's a great place to start a hiking tour. It has great views. And then you descend to the other side to Socha Valley. And it's just, on the map and everybody wants to do it. It was built by the Russian prisoners in the past. It has 50 hairpin turns and each turn is basically made out of the cobblestone. Only for the uphill, I would not suggest going downhill on these cobblestones. Beside this climb, my favorite one would be the Mangarcel. It's not a pass, it is the saddle, so it is the highest road. So the highest road in Slovenia. It goes up to 2,000 meters, which is approximately 6,000 feet. And it is truly unique. When you come up here, you're actually getting a view of the Alps in three countries. So of Slovenia, Italy, and Austria. You can see all the way to the Dolomites. I would say if you are able to do it, it's really, really rewarding and amazing to do. Those are just two that I mentioned now, but there are many more others. So if you're a road bikers, you should go and challenge yourself up here. Gravel bikes got a lot of attention, at least in Slovenia in the past 5 years that I see gravel biking, that it's basically very similar to a road bike, just the tires are a bit wider, which allows you to ride a bit more comfortably on the gravel paths. In Slovenia, we have the gravel paths, as you see on the video playing right now. It's a paradise. When you go to the south part of the country or the central, you really find these long, amazing, well-maintained gravel roads, and you just put a smile on your face because it's really so nice to ride. Here I need to mention that if you want to ride gravel in the Alps, I would suggest taking rather mountain bike because the roads are way more challenging and the ride on the gravel bike is not as pleasant as it would be on the mountain bike. What I normally search when I do the traveling, when I go to some other country, I really want to find the cozy boutique hotels, farm stays, and mountain lodges because this is where I'm truly going to connect with the people there. As I said, Slovenia is small. We don't have a big hotel or a chain hotel that basically accepts 200, 300, 400 people. We don't have that. We have those little places. And what is very special about it is that they're run by the local people that are passionate about the things they do and they support the locals. So in the morning when you get the breakfast, you're going to get the fresh ingredients from the area that this accommodation is located at because those locals want to support the local farmers as well. Personally, when I go somewhere, I search for something like that. And I found a lot of places in Slovenia like that. And I would say the majority of the places you search for or you're going to be staying at look like the ones that are on the photos. So not big hotels, but those little cozy stays. Mountain huts. Why did I put the huts? Well, we call them huts in Slovenia, but when I have guests, they actually say, Nejc, this is not a hut, like a hut in our country, like a shelter, but this is a restaurant. And no, probably you're aware that in Europe, compared to maybe the States, in the Alpine region of Slovenia, Austria, Italy, and Switzerland, you're going to find mountain restaurants like that. What is better than riding a bike, coming on top of the mountain, and there's a welcoming hut serving you a draft cold beer or a nice stew where you can try something local and get some energy to get moving. I would say a lot of these huts also, you can sleep in them. If you do hut-to-hut hiking, you could also do in Slovenia hut-to-hut biking. I'm calling them now huts, but like to me, they are like that. They're actually nice mountain restaurants. And to have them, it's something truly unique and I'm really happy for that. A lot of time, people would ask me, what is the authentic Slovenian food? Actually, I know a lady that runs now a Garden of Taste that wrote a lot of recipes and books about Slovenian cuisine. To be honest, we have many, but all this food is influenced by the countries around us. So in every food you try, you're going to feel the taste of Italy, taste of Austria, Hungary, or the Croatia, Mediterranean. I would say we really like the Italian and Mediterranean. You find a lot of those. So if you stay in the Alps, you're going to get stews and cheese and dry meat. And if you go towards the coast, there's going to be pasta with truffles. We have an amazing land of truffles, and this is something really you should try. The strukli, they're actually the dumplings. That's something that each person that goes with me have to try. The prosciutto, olive oil, wine. Actually, food is something I did not appreciate it much when I was younger, but now I do. And often when I'm abroad, miss the food in Slovenia because you're getting the taste of 4 different countries actually every second day. Behind the food, there are always the people. And to find those people, I would say I had to, search, and it was quite easy to find them. And to get the passionate people behind all this amazing food is something truly unique. 2 years ago, there was a lady with me on the tour, Trish from Oregon, and she said to me, Nejc, how did you find these people? It's not that I did not like the biking itself, like I loved it, but those people just made my trip, it brought it completely to the next level. And you just made me realize, I mean, those people I met. So basically, Jožica there that does wine tasting, and Marieta that does the Garden of Taste. And I will search for those people in Oregon now. I will try to find them. I will support them, because I know they exist. And you showed me, I mean, those people showed you that it is possible. Well, like I said, in Slovenia, you're going to find in every little town some passionate people about something. It can be the honey making, the cheese tasting, the wine, the food, just having the gardens, the vegetable patches. Like every house in Slovenia would have a vegetable patch. So the fresh ingredients on the table are actually a must. I'm so grateful, sometimes having even tears when I talk about those people, because they make a biking really unique and special. Besides all the cycling, well, you can cycle everywhere in the nature and say, well, the nature is amazing, the views are amazing, but you also want to explore some other things. And Slovenia has a lot of cultural and historical heritage. You see the Predjama Castle, which is the pre-cave castle. It's before where the Pristojna cave is located. So there's a lot of castles on either top of the rock, top of the hill, or like this one just before the cave. You see the Planica, which is the highest ski jump in the world. But it's not just now that we build it and it became the longest or the highest or the biggest. It's the history behind it. Actually, all the ski jumping, a lot of the ski jumping progress was happening in this area. And you always explore it when you go for a biking tour. And you're going to find in summer people training to preparing for the winter season. Then you have the museums. One of the museums we have, it's one of the best First World War museum, really worth visiting. You're going to see a little church with hills and then mountains at the back. But this is something really special for us. And it's so many, I don't even know, like hundreds of churches on top of the hill. And why is that? It was defense against the Turks in the past. And you will explore a lot of that. Actually, maybe every day you're going to come to the top of the hill and there's going to be a church. I mean, the beauty of it is the history. It was built way in the past, and it's now really well preserved and really worth visiting and unique. Where in this picture, it's one of the most known things, it's Lake Bled. So if you write anything about Slovenia on Google or any social media, you're gonna be directed to go to Lake Bled. So it's this amazing little lake with a little island and a church on it. It is really nice lake to go and explore, but I would always suggest that more than a day, you don't need there. It is so packed, it is a bit overwhelming. Definitely a must-stop place, must visit, but there's so much more of the country. So don't just come to Slovenia to see that. If you go with me, we're definitely gonna see it, but we're not gonna be just there. We're gonna focus on some other things as well. Most of the people don't know that we have the largest cave in Europe. It's called Pristojna Cave. I actually did this photo. I've been in this cave a couple of times. The last time I've been with my guests was 2 years ago. I was normally saying like, don't go there, don't go because it's too busy. But really all the people that went, they say to me, Nejc, besides the busyness, it's still worth visiting. It's all the stalagmites, the stalactites, like how big it is really unique. Let's say one of the best caves you can see in the world. And half of the country actually has an underground system. So there's so many caves that we don't even know the number of it. So if you want to explore a little bit less busy cave, the second one is Škocjan Cave. It has the largest underground canyon. It's also a UNESCO heritage. Definitely worth visiting. Normally, if it's raining, you go to the places like that. Besides all the things I mentioned, and saying that we have so much nature around us, well, it's also perfect for adrenaline adventures. So kayaking or rafting on the Socha River, it's the one you see on the photo. The color is this blue, emerald blue, green. And what makes the color of the river? Where first of all is definitely, it's very clean and clear, but it's actually the limestone. The Slovenian Alps are, mostly limestone, and that's what makes the color of this river. They call it one of the most beautiful river in Europe. So doing the rafting or kayaking on that river, it's really amazing. As soon as you jump in, you feel like reborn. Beside that, you have also the zip lining, the paragliding. So anything that comes to outdoor, amazing. So when changing the location from one place to the other, it's worth doing something like that. I hope I at least inspired you a little bit about Slovenia. Now I want to go into the good to know things when coming to Slovenia, which is always a question of what is the best season for biking. Well, most of the people want to come in autumn because of all the colors. The fall, it's just so beautiful. And yeah, it's true. Like the colors in spring and autumn are amazing. It's really best for cycling, but also summer is not bad. So all the colors you're going to get in the spring and autumn, but you can also expect maybe 3 to 5 days of rain in a row, which is good to know. So spring is from April till end of June. Then you have summer from July, August, and September, October, it's the fall. So later the fall, more the colors. One of my guests from last year, Barbara, said to me, Nejc, I'm planning to come again this year. I really wanted to go in autumn because of all the colors and all these things, and everybody wants to go at that time. But doing the trip in August that we did with 4 girls was truly unique because you could swim in every lake, every river, and that makes the trip even special. So if you like swimming and you plan to come in summer, don't forget your swimming clothes. Also good to point out that in summer, if you go to the Alps and the valleys, the temperatures are much lower. So avoid the coast, stay in the Alps, and you're going to make a perfect trip. Getting to Slovenia, most of the people don't know, but as you can see on the map, always, of course, it's best to fly to Ljubljana International Airport because you're going to be in the center of Slovenia. So not much driving to the accommodation you would be staying at. But you should also consider flying to either Zagreb International Airport, which is the capital of Croatia, or also Venice. As you can see on the map, those places are quite close. So from Zagreb to Ljubljana, it normally takes you 1 hour, 45-minute drive, and you're easy to find the public transportation or the private shuttles. Also, Venice is approximately 2.5 hours to 3 hours away from Ljubljana. But what most of the people would do, they normally fly either to Ljubljana or Zagreb. And then if we do the Alps to Adriatic tour, so finishing at Piran on the coast, they take a ferry to Venice, and then from Venice, they fly to the next European destination or back home. So those 3 places are really good to consider, especially if you find the connections from other European cities better, price-wise and also the time-wise. Well, I'm a guide and I represent now my tours, and probably you want to know what I created and why I think those are the ones that, I offer, you should come to, and why I think these are the tours you should be on, or so it's going to be easier for you to choose maybe. What I really like is the multi-day cycling adventure. It's not enough to come to Slovenia for one day. Definitely not. Because if you come for longer, so let's say you're going to be 2 days in the Alpine region, 2 days in the vineyard region, and then 2 more days on the coast, and then some hilly area. The thing is, one day is not enough. There's so much diversity to explore that I would say at least 1 week. 2 years ago, I had some friends that I teach and ski with them in Switzerland. They came for 6 days and said, Nejc, we want to do everything. And we literally did almost everything. But they said at the end, we wish we would stay longer. So if you have the time, stay as long as possible. But I would say 1 week, a minimum. Just to have a little bit of the feeling of what I'm talking about is we have 1 hour drive from Ljubljana to the Adriatic coast and 30 minutes from Ljubljana to the Alps. So, very, very small country, very compact. And when you do the tours, you actually can be at one location when your accommodation is. And if it's raining in the Alps, you say, okay, it's nice on the coast, let's go and do the tour there. So the options we have are really limitless. There's just so many things that you can decide on the day, and you don't need to spend 3-4 hours in a car. It can be less than 1 hour drive, and you can use your day in the best possible way. And also the region and everything is going to change dramatically. What I offer, like what tour would be best for you? With 57 hours, I offer 4 tours, and I would now focus on 2 of those. First one is the Slovenian Alps e-bike tour, which is 1 week adventure, mostly focused on the Slovenian Alps, as you can see on the map from Ljubljana up to the northwest. You stay 3 days at the location in the pre-Alp region, and then 2 more days at Lake Bled, and then 2 more bays in the heart of the Alps in Kranjska Gora. And each time you will do the tours and explore the region with the bikes around here. I use electric mountain bikes for that because the terrain is quite challenging. We do a lot of climbing, approximately 1,200 to 1,500 meters of climbing in a day, 40 to 50 kilometers, which is in feet. We do approximately 3,000 to 4,000 feet of climbing in a day. If you're not that much of a mountain biker or just biker in general, and you want to do also some hikes, we offer also the bike and hike. And this is really, I think, a hard thing to have people sign up for, but it's really nice to do it because in Slovenia, the Alps are very steep, especially the peaks. So most of the time, not really accessible by bike. And this time, if you are willing to hike, you can access those things. So if you go on a bike hike, you can really say, okay, there's going to be 3 days of biking and 2 days of hiking, or vice versa. And on the days when I do the hiking, we focus more on the, conquering the very peak of the mountain. And when we do the bike, we explore the regions, a little bit other areas. So that would be basically the most differences between the Alps, so only biking, and then bike and hike tour that I offer. Then the completely contrary to that is the road cycling, the epic climbs. Epic climbs, the name of it is because you do all the most iconic passes or climbs in Slovenia for road cycling. This is a very challenging tour. It is a tour that goes day to day. So each day you're staying at another location. A guide is doing the tour. So this guide is going to be all the time with you, plus the support vehicle that transports the luggage and all the necessary equipment. Because for the challenge that every day is in front of you, you need some energy as well. If you go on the road cycling, do the epic climbs, you're also going to do some climbs of Austria and some climbs of Italy. So it's basically a blend of the Alpine climbs of Slovenia, Italy, and Austria, but mostly focused on the Alps and really explore those regions. Mostly in a day, there's in front of you at least minimum 1,500 to 2,000 meters of climbing. So a very challenging thing, but it is a tour purely for road cyclists, not that much for electric mountain biking or just mountain biking in general. Well, my favorite one is Alps to Adriatic. It's a 12-day journey from the central of Slovenia, from our capital Ljubljana, towards the northwest to the Alps, and then slowly descending down to the coast along the Italian border and finishing it in Piran. Well, you could do this tour in 7 days. People do it in 5 days. But the thing is, in the past 8 years doing it, I realized that the best is to do it in 12 days because you would be staying 2 days at each location, 6 different locations, from Ljubljana to Lake Bled, Kranjska Gora, the wine region of Goriška Brda, and then at the end, Piran. And each time you're at this place, you're exploring the area around your accommodation. And when changing the location, you actually explore also the things that are in between. It can be either like a short bike or a hike, but also some other things. And this one I truly find unique. A lot of people that have done that thing with me were really blown away because it's feeling that just 2 days ago you were riding in the Alps and now you're riding on the coast. It's just amazing. And trying so many different type of food and seeing so much different variety of the landscape, the architecture, it's just amazing. It's hard to take everything in. So yeah, basically 4 tours, 3 of them are 8-day long. One is focused on the road cycling, 2 of them more on the mountain biking, either electric or normal. And then the last one is also more mountain biking, but it's a 12-day journey from the Alps to Adriatic, where you cover half of Slovenia and you get a good sense of how the country looks like. Also, a good thing of this Alps to Adriatic is that at the end, people normally take a ferry to Venice, explore more Venice, or they just continue the journey down to Croatia and explore Croatia as well. Here I put together a little video from October 2022. I normally do those for every group I have. And I just want to walk you through how the day or the tour with me looks like. A guide always comes to pick you up at the airport. And then we come to the first accommodation where we meet with the local people there to get some experience to local cuisine, just a warm welcome. And we go through the program, get to know each other, to really set up the friendly atmosphere and then talk about the things, what we're going to be doing. So also do the bike fitting just to get familiar with the tour we're now on. Then every day we would start the tour at either 9 o'clock, 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning. either from the hotel or the place you're staying at, or we're gonna drive for 15 to 30 minutes, not more, and explore the region around. And then from 10 till 4 or 5, we are out. We are exploring. We're on an adventure, just exploring as much as possible. We're not in a hurry. Guide is there, like I'm there for you till you want to enjoy it. And it depends how the day goes. We would stop at some local experiences to try some local cuisine and just, get the day well organized and everything. So if it's raining, we would change the tour and go somewhere else where it's not, or like, I don't know, go to the caves. We just try to do the best. When you come back home around 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you had some free time to take a shower, chill. And then I will always recommend you what are good restaurants to book, to go to. I'm happy to always do the booking recommendation, also join you if I would be invited. But the thing is, my day doesn't finish with the biking. I still need to take care of the bikes because that's quite an important thing for me. So they're all clean, all well maintained and ready for the next day. So I still have some extra work after that. And then every day, like we would either have a group chat where we can organize everything for the next day, but each day we will, plan the day ahead to see what the weather is like, how the level of the people that are riding is, really trying to make it personalized for everyone that is there. When changing the locations, I'm also with you. So the guide is with you, either with a short hike or doing some other attractions. So basically, guide is there with you for 7 days or 12 days, depending what you're choosing. So the groups, I want to keep them really small, which means 5 people per guide. I would only accept more people if it's a close group of friends. For example, I have in September 12 people from the USA signing up, and they're close friends, and I'm happy to that. But for that, there are going to be 2 guides. So it is 5 people per guide. I want to make every tour and every day personalized and very customized to the abilities. I have a feeling that if you have 10 people and there's only one person responsible for them, it's a chaos and people don't get out of the tour what they should get. So really keep it small, more into the quality, less the quantity. Who are the guides? Like I'm the guide, my younger brother is a guide, and there's my co-owner of the Hour Away. We're all locals, we're all Slovenians, have a good level of English, and we know the area. We grew up in Slovenia, we've explored it. We are certified and really making sure that the trip that you're signing up for is in good hands. So the guide that knows lots about the history, the culture of the country, also the bikes, if something goes wrong, the routes. So it doesn't take you on some single trail that you end up being like, what is this? So just trying to have a person with you that is, smiling and being professional at the same time. Well, a question is, who can ride? Who can come? I would say everybody. I had last year a group of Canadian girls, average age of 80, and we did Alps to Adriatic tour, and it blew me away. So, if you feel like that you need some assistance, e-bike is for you. If not, you can take a normal bike, but really everybody can ride. And since the groups are small, I can make sure that everybody's going to feel challenged to the certain amount of time. What's to pack? Well, that's quite an easy answer. If you come in spring and autumn, please be prepared for all kinds of weather. So have more layers with you. If you come in summer, maybe a little bit less, but still have like a windproof jacket or one rain jacket in case we get like an afternoon shower. The cycling pads are always welcome. You don't need to bring your own helmet because we have them, but just, dress appropriately so you feel comfortable when riding a bike. It's basically like riding a bike at home, but be ready for, the temperatures that can drop a little bit lower or a bit more higher up. What bikes do we use or what bikes do we have, and can I bring my own? You can bring your own bike, but the bike has to be in a very good condition because we're mostly going to ride the Alpine terrain. So some easy kind of trekking bikes are not going to do the job. So our bikes that we have are the Ghost bikes with 750 watt-hour battery, front suspension, hardtail, it's the air suspension, 29 wheels, and all the bikes we have are either brand new or maximum 2 years old. I mean, to me, equipment is very important because it's the safety. You're spending a lot of time on a bike, and I make sure that the bikes are in good condition. every day they get maintained, serviced by a professional certified service guy. So they're ready for the next day to be used. If it comes to the gravel bikes, we have the specialized Diverge, the aluminum frame, because I think we don't need the carbon frame for it. Also, very important that you feel good on a bike. And so far, the people that had used them, they feel very happy and very comfortable on a bike. So the equipment is essential. If you want to bring your own bike, please make sure it is in a very good condition. We do make sure ours are. If you need to or you want to know more about what the past guests used to say about the tours that we did together, we have one person with us today. Actually, my friend now. There were 4 girls from Colorado that came to ride last year on a trip, Alps to Adriatic. And I'm really honored that she actually took a day off to come and basically just tell the story of how she felt, how she discovered Slovenia.
Was it good? It was amazing. I would be honest, I was lucky enough to be invited kind of last minute on this trip. They had a 4th that canceled. I don't think I would have ever thought of going to Slovenia, but when it was offered to me, I said, sounds wonderful. And I cannot say enough about how beautiful, diverse. I feel like I'm repeating everything that Nate said, but the trip was phenomenal. We got to ride up into the Alps. We came down even into Austria and Italy one afternoon for lunch. We got to swim in rivers and lakes and ponds. We did a whitewater rafting trip. There was just so much. We got to stop at many of the places he talked about. The diversity of what we saw and the people we met, which I need to say are so gracious and lovely. The places we stayed at, very unique little farmhouses. And it was just so much more intimate and alluring than staying at some big hotel or something like that. And so we greatly appreciated the places we stayed at. They were beautiful, cozy, and it was idyllic, to be very honest. Whole entire tour. And so I can't say enough. I will definitely be going back to Slovenia again. But the whole trip was amazing. And Nate and his brother Uros were so wonderful, so kind, so engaging. It's a trip that I will forever have memories of.
Betsy, thank you for trusting us. But you've said so much, it brings some tears in my eyes. Thank you for your story. I really appreciate it. And I hope I delivered Slovenia a little bit to, broader audience. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful, like any country, if you know for what you're planning to do there. And I think Slovenia for biking, it's definitely gonna left you speechless.